I think, putting aside the media, I think what the fans need much more and what they're not getting is lots and lots of great content between the Grand Prix. And that also includes maybe the evenings building up to the Grand Prix when the teams are debriefing or at the hotel. I think we should see a lot more of that, have a lot more access to that moment. And then, obviously, after the last Grand Prix of the season and before the new season starts, there should be much more of it around. But the teams just sort of basically go into hibernation. And that's where, I think Formula One misses a massive trick. I've said many times in various columns, F1 Racing and on my site, that if I was running world motorsport, for want of a better word, I would ensure that all the top teams have their top drivers doing world tours between the two seasons, promoting Formula One in key countries, countries where we're not getting great audiences, like China is a very good example. Everybody wants to make money out of China, but at the same time, nobody's watching Formula One in China. How do you solve the problem? You build up the sport. Obviously, you need to have an infrastructure to build up young Chinese drivers as well. But, if Lewis Hamilton and Max Verstappen and Charles Leclerc went to Shanghai, we're not talking the COVID era, obviously, just normal circumstances, went to Shanghai for a 2-week blitz tour of Shanghai, doing lots of events, karting, big charity auctions, all sorts of stuff. It wouldn't hurt, would it? Wouldn't hurt, but they don't do that. So I think that's one area where we really need to pick it up, that stuff, that fallow period between the seasons. Speaking purely personally, I think being able to chat to drivers when they're relaxed and they haven't got 25 microphones in front of them is something we don't have anymore. And I used to be able to, whether it be Ayrton Senna, Jackie Stewart, Jim Clark, obviously, but in more recent times, even Michael, you could chat to them when they weren't, performing in front of mics, and you could just say, "Oh, Michael, by the way, I heard you miss a gear. What happened then?" And you'd say, "Oh, yeah, okay, yeah, sure, that did you?" And there'd be a bit of a chat. You can't even do that now, and I think that is very sad, really. That doesn't exist. You can't really talk to the mechanics either. I used to know the names of every mechanic in the pit lane in every team, their background. We always used to club together if one of them was in problems. We don't know any of them anymore because teams think you're not supposed to go near them, and it's just pathetic, really.
Listen to more insights on the Mission Makers podcast through Apple, Spotify, and YouTube.